Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In last session, we discussed how to create the first project in Angular, right? So in this session, we are going to talk about the structure and the folders that are created using the first command of creating the project. Okay, so mainly we are going to talk what all folders are available once we create the first project and how to understand, like I'm going to show you like what all files are stored in what particular folder. Clear? So these are the things that we will be discussing in this particular session. But before we proceed further, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for time being we are just mainly focusing on how to use or how to understand the structure or the folders that are created once we create the first new initial project. Okay, fine. So let's proceed with the first folder. Here you can see we have first folder as Angular. So when you expand it, you will see there are some other information also, right? White is there and there are some information, right? So what this Angular folder, or you can say the Angular section, holds? So it basically stores the Angular CLI cache and temporary files. Okay, so this folder or this section mainly contains the CLI cache, Angular CLI cache and temporary files. Okay, so that means like we are not going to do anything directly here in this section. So this is just for your information that it holds the Angular CLI cache and temporary files. Okay, why we are discussing about all these sections and folders? Because maybe in some interviews you might be asked with a question where they might ask you to elaborate a particular topic, or let's say if someone asks you what all files are stored in the source src folder. So you have to explain all these things. Okay, so if someone asks you what is Angular, like what all information are stored into this Angular section, so you can simply say that it holds the Angular CLI cache and temporary files. Then we have VS Code. So if you expand it, you will see that here you can find the extension.json, launch.json, tasks.json, right? So what all these things are? So if here like VS Code folder mainly contains the settings for the Visual Code to improve your coding experience, because we have created this project, right? Now we will be using VS Code to implement this thing. So for that reason, it holds all the configuration related settings for the Visual Code, which will later help us to improve the coding experience. Clear? Fine. Then we have node modules. So this node module folder mainly stores all the packages and dependency that your project needs. Okay, and it is generated when you run the npm install command. So if you expand this section, you will find all those not this one, the node modules. You will find all those dependencies and packages that we have installed. In fact, like when we these are the all things that are auto generated. So whenever we ran the command npm install, at that moment only it start creating packages and all dependency. So these are all those information that we store inside the node module section. Again, we are not going to write anything directly here into this node module. We will be just utilizing all these packages whenever there is a need. Okay, so for now these are the we have discussed 3 folder, but there is no direct need of writing anything into this folder. Clear? Then we have public folder. Now what is this? So this public folder typically used to store static files like images, fonts and any asset that don't change often. Okay, so maybe on your website you need to utilize some of the pictures, favicons, right? So all those information can be stored into this public section or public folder. You can see here favicon.ico. so this is the image which is already stored here for Angular, right? Clear? Then we have one of the most important folder, although like these all folders are important somewhere, but the one where we are going to implement all those changes, we are going to create the component and all the required thing will be src, source folder. Okay, so let's see what all information are there in the source folder. So when you expand it, you will see there is one app folder. Then inside app folder, if you expand it, you will find other information, right? So let's go one by one. So first folder is src folder. So src folder is the place where our main source code will be residing. Okay, so this is the place where the main source code of your application lives. Clear? So, and this is one of the important folder as per developers, because developer will be utilizing this folder only for creating the application and for adding the required files. Clear? Then inside this src we have app folder. Now what is this app folder? So this is the heart of your application. You can say this is the heart of your application because it contains all the logic and user interfaces. Okay, so whatever logic is running behind your application will be stored here. What are the UI part or user interface part you are utilizing for your application will be stored here. Okay, so let's go one by one. So in this session mainly we are just going to discuss about the overview of these things. Okay, we are not going to talk everything in detailed manner because there are many things that are utilized here or stored here. So one by one, when we move further for this playlist, at that time we will discuss all these things. Okay, but for now I'm just going to show you and give you the overview of these folders. So the first file is app.component.ts. Here it is. So what is this app.component.ts? So it basically defines the main component of the app. If you don't know about component, don't worry, we will discuss everything here, but for now just keep it in mind that it defines the main component of the application. Then we have app.component.html. So with its extension itself, it is clear that HTML template for your main component will be stored into this app.component.html. So you can see everything related to HTML is written over here. Okay, and in case of app.component.ts, you will find all the main component of your application. Then we have app.component.css. So here we will store all those CSS related code for your user interface. Clear? Then we have app.component.spec.ts. So here you will find all the information related to your test file for the main component. So whatever you want to test here will be stored. All those configuration file for testing will be stored here, spec.ts. After that we have another thing, that is app.config.ts, where where application configuration is mainly stored. So overall application configuration file will be stored here in app.config.ts. Likewise we have app.route.ts, which handles the routing to navigate the pages from one page to another page into your application. Clear? So these are the all things that are related to this app part. Now if we move further, there are other files also, like index.html, main.ts and style.css. So here index.html is the first page, you can say, that will load your application. So this is the first file that gets loaded whenever we run the application. So this is the first page. Likewise we have main.ts, where you can say that this is the entry point of your Angular application. It basically starts the application. Okay, so this is the entry point. This is the entry point, and this is the first page that loads when we run the application. Then we have styles.css, where we will keep all global style that you want to apply to your entire application. Okay, fine. So this is all about the src folder. Now there are some other files or things are there. Let me explain you one by one. The first one is editor config. So this file mainly keeps the code style consistent across the different editors. Likewise we have git ignore, that tells the git that which files to ignore, because we all know that node.modules is something that can be installed easily with npm install, right? So there is no need to put it over the git. So that's why we use this thing where it will just tell that the git that these are the things that we don't want to backup. Okay, so it will simply ignore those files. Then we have angular.json, where configuration of Angular CLI like build, serve, etc. are stored. Clear? Then we have next thing, that is package.json. So package.json is mainly it mainly holds the list of dependencies and project metadata. Clear? Then we have package_lock.json, which ensures the consistent versions of installed packages. Yes, so here we will maintain the versioning of the application. And then we have readme.md, which just hold the basic information and documentation about your project. Then we have tsconfig.app.json, which holds the TypeScript configuration specific to the application. And then we have tsconfig.json, like this is the app.json, this is only JSON, where main TypeScript configuration file are stored. And then at the last we have tsconfig.spec.json, which mainly holds the TypeScript configuration for the testing purpose. Now here, don't worry about anything. If anything is not clear to you, it's completely fine, because in this session we are just talking about the overview of these folder. But when we proceed further, we will start the practical thing. We will try and explore each and everything from very basic, like how to create component, what is component, and other required thing. Okay, so don't worry about the definitions and all. I just give you the overview of this entire folder structure that we have created. And one more thing, it depends on version. Maybe you are using some different version of Angular, so in that case it would be different, but not completely different. Some things are changed, or maybe if you are watching this session after 2025 or 2024, then you might see some update versions also. So there might be one or two extra folder or some modification into the file, but don't worry, it will not differ much. Only few things will be updated, remaining would be the same, because Angular also keep it in mind that yes, there are other developers who are already using Angular previous version, so they keep it consistent throughout the all versions. Only the updation would be added. Clear? So in this session we only discuss how to in this session we discuss the entire structure of folder that we create once we created the first application using Angular. So I hope this session is clear to all of you. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.